アイシクルブレイズブロックリリース師匠申し訳ありません
The episode begins with Ray and his friends in the gym, training in a very harsh way. When he finishes rehearsing, his girlfriend Sarah gives him the spare key to their clubroom. Because none of the other members can do it. And it is possible to get there before their friend Rebecca. Ray goes there and finds his girlfriend Rebecca, and she offers him tea and tells him that it is extracted from some plants planted by the gardening club. And then Ray sees one of the books, so he asks Rebecca about it. She told him that inside was the gardening club's cooperative records. It even contains information that regular illustrated guidebooks do not contain. He asked her if she was recorded in these records. She told him that she had taken notes specifically about the flowers that had been altered by magic. Then they go to the plants, and Rebecca says that this plant is capable of using magic, and this is very common among predatory plants. Where through the process of evolution began to generate a phenomenon similar to magic. She also says that Ray's yellow chrysanthemum plant has its own limitation. And she is very happy that she was able to teach a new member so many things like this. Ray told her that there were a lot of students here and she could have taught them. She said to him, "I think since I am from one of the 3 great families, there is always a great distance between me and the people here. I love them so much, but when I try to show them something like this, they politely refuse. I feel that I will find it difficult to open up to them. So I am very happy because it is easy to talk to you." Ray asked her to continue taking such lessons from her. Rebecca agreed to this request, and Ray took this book from her to study it more. After a few hours they sit down together and Rebecca asks him if he's really going to join the magical horsemanship organizing staff. He told her he was going to cheer up Amelia. She said to him, "This is Amelia, the favorite of the Ascendants, and the daughter of the Rose family, who is the leader of the 3 great families." Ray said to her, "Is there no one from the 3rd family in the academy?" She replied that there is, and they are Algiers who, by virtue of tradition, go to a day of magic. And this family has an eldest daughter and is a great competitor to Amelia. And the next day, the organizing staff of the magical equestrian begins. A fight begins between Amelia and her friend, and the fight ends with Amelia winning. Their teacher informs them that the academy will start its preliminary rounds soon and will choose its representatives. And that they will be facing their classmates from the first year, which means that anyone who plans to participate will be their competitor. After that, Amelia asks her teacher to fight Ray, and the audience gets annoyed because they hate Ray, but Ray agrees to that. Amelia attacks Ray and finds her very fast, but her blows are not severe. She tells him that he is not good at using magic, but he is very good at sword, so she wanted to fight him. And they resume fighting between them, and Ray remembers when he was young when he was training with his father. And suddenly he was going to use his strength, but he stopped himself at the last moment and threw his sword on the ground, so Amelia wins this war. And then asked him what happened, but he did not answer her.
始め
あなたは不思議な人ね。たのよ。
なるほど感じしようじゃないか勝者はアメリア・ローズ
ねえレイ、最後の。
And then they sit down to eat their food, and Ray's friends say that he was amazing with the sword, and where did he learn all that from? So he told them that he had a teacher who taught him swordplay and magic and how one should be. Albert goes to them and asks that he and Ray fight together. And they all go to the forest and make a barrier surrounding the area around them so that their voices do not come out and no one knows them. A war begins between them, and Allium tries to hit Ray, but he can avoid it. Ray takes his sword and tells him today that he will kill him. And we see this person looking at them from afar, and today he tries to hit Ray again, but he runs away from his hit. And then he uses his magic to hit Ray. At this time, Allium remembers when he was young. Since he was born to be the heir of the Allium family, this family is a very noble family. Despite that, they were in the lower level of the middle class, and they were far from being seen by anyone, and because of this, his father saw him humiliated many times. Therefore, he set his goal in life, which is that he will raise the status of his family name high and is keen on success and growth. He says, I will eventually become a great magician. He eventually becomes a great wizard and will kill Ray White. Allium attacks him with fireballs, but Ray avoids them. And he throws a fire hat at him again, and Ray uses his magic and cuts the spell. And his friends are amazed that he can break the spell? And Ray says to him, let me tell you how wide our world is. Allium wonders why you don't get hit by any of them? You must be really noble. And you appear to be from one of the 3 great families, but you are undercover. Ray told him, no, I was born a normal person, but since my birth I have been using magic, and I can fight like this as well. I understand that inheritance is very important to you, but that does not mean that you are a great mage. Allium gets angry and uses his strongest spell, which is in the form of a dragon, and attacks him, but Ray cuts it off. They are astonished and cry all day, crying loudly. And Amelia talks to Ray and tells him, you will tell us now, who are you? Suddenly, something strange happens that paralyzes all the students except Ray. And this hidden person appears and says that impressively, this is the spirit of youth, but now you will all become living offerings.
結界外部に音が漏れ
無用だ
敗北を認めた方が
ことができれば身体能力だけのやれどうしてだなんであんなミスターアリム君に世界の広かうこともできる俺は偉大な魔術を発展にこれは
And don't worry, you will contribute to the development of amazing magic. When she reveals a face, his teacher, Gray, finds her and is very surprised. And he talks to his friends and says to them, I will tell you who I am, but be patient, please. And I only have a fighter, Mrs. Gray, and she tells him, what do you think of this surprise? It is clear that you are not an ordinary person. He told her, neither do you understand that you belong to the Eugene. Your goal is to obtain the student's Instagram. She told him, what you said is true. I do not hate people with intelligence, and now I am interested in your Instagram. He told her that you were trying to kidnap the students in Kafka Forest during that exercise, and it was very strange that that monster was there while you were controlling it. She said to him, correct, and this is his trick in order to put an excuse that another student had disappeared from the academy and then declared mourning for him. And he tells her that you are the one who incited Allium to do that? She told him that his pride is the only one that deserves respect, what remains is all pathetic rubbish. But in the end it was a good time by while this solid barrier was erected. With so many brains I shall at once acquire a promising crop of disciples and my rank with the Yogini will rise. Ray told her, if everything you told me was a lie. She said to him, yes, I caught my eye, and I always talk to the students secretly when I care about them as a passionate and affectionate teacher, but she played the role perfectly. What do you think? Ray told her to prepare for losing an arm or two, teacher. Gray is surprised and replies to him that she still calls me his teacher, and I will keep you alive while I study the engram in your brain. And you tell him that you are a magician who specializes in fighting from close distances, right? Although you are an ordinary person, you have an extraordinary high ability. And Gray uses her magic, which is a fire snake, and attacks him and tells him, what will you do, Ray? I will kill you all at once. Ray protects his friends and uses his magic, and Gray says, what is happening from you? He said to her, I'm sorry, my teacher, but I have to do this to protect everyone. Ray uses icy blades. Gray is amazed and says this is impossible to escape from ice. It was assumed that the Ice Blade Mage had disappeared in the war. He told her yes, but the title of Ice Blade Wizard had been transferred to a boy. She told him this is impossible, you are a liar and once again throw a ball of fire at me. But he uses his sword and cuts the spell. And you say to him, since you have ice blades or one of the 7 great magicians, you cannot block these. She casts a spell on him and Ray uses the antimatter blade. Gray says how did she disappear? And Ray says to her, what do you think that I show you the magician of the ice blade in nature? She told him who are you? Gray gets scared and runs away, but is attacked with a sword in her leg. And she says to him, are you a magician of the ice blade? He said it to her, right, I am the magician of the ice blade.
だが少しだけ待っていてほしい。
正解だレイホワイト。毛がつく。そして私は長く有望な質のいい魔術師が一区内から生徒が消えてもどうとでもいい。高くて実力が伴わない
氷だったのですね。
当たり前だ。おっと。まずファイヤースネーク。
師匠、クロノスロック、リリス、アイシクルブレイズ。
がない。そんなざれ言。魔術師は極東戦役で姿を消したはいカサルティオドラゴン。
氷剣の魔術師。
She said to him, can I introduce you to the Eugenes? This is an excellent idea, and I am sure they will appoint you one of their leaders and let me go and beg you please and cry a lot. She uses her magic, but nothing affects Ray. And he says to her, is that all, my teacher? She said to him, I will accept it. Even as a platinum player, I cannot compete with the greats. But the strongest of the 7 great wizards? What are you going to do with this sword? Are you going to kill me with that ice blade? He told her, no, your punishment will be commensurate with the crime. She said to him, will you catch me alive? And I will blow all my energy and use this syringe in her head and turn into a monster and say you forced me to use this. And now I want to enjoy killing you, Ice Blade.
それで化け物だ。
終わりだ。
化け物だ。のか。
いえ。
アクティベート。今までの研究の